iDubbbz, or as he's commonly known, Ian, is one of the most outlandish and different YouTubers there are. He's willing to do or say just about anything in the name of comedy. The things he says may actually offend quite a few people, but it's not as if he cares considering how much of a fan of freedom of speech he is. In a sense, Ian makes reviews, and that's one of the only words I can use to describe his content, as it doesn't really fit into that many categories, though you could also call him a commentator or a few other things. Regardless, his content is comedy mixed with multiple different elements and genres. It's because of his sarcastic, vulgar, and witty humor, Ian's charisma as a personality, and his overall presentation that makes him so popular. This popularity has affected the online landscape greatly, with people making memes of him and celebrating the release of his multiple different series. It's safe to say that the YouTube community would be a bit of a different place without iDubbbz, as he's inspired and changed people in many different ways. It's quite debatable whether those changes are good or bad, but the ripples he causes in the like of YouTube are some of the biggest. Like everyone, he had to start as a metaphorical pebble, making only the slightest difference. So let's start from the beginning and look at what brought Ian to where he is today. Not much is known about Ian's past. In fact, much of the information is debated about even to this day. Of what we do know, he was born on July 27, 1991 in San Antonio, Texas. Later on in his life, he went to and graduated from college for a degree in business administration. The more debated parts of his life include him having a brother and his real name. I wasn't able to confirm that he has a brother, but I found 2 tweets for reference talking about him having 2 sisters, one being older and one being younger. I did find this other tweet where he mentions having a brother, but this could have very well been a joke. But the one time that he did directly address having siblings, he only stated to have an older sister. Though, to me, the debate about his real name is actually a bit more interesting. For most of his time online, he's been public about his first name being Ian, which was later confirmed by multiple different sources. Officially, his full name is known to be Ian Carter, though many speculate that his last name is just an alias. Supposedly, what people say is Ian's brother can be heard in the background of one of his now deleted videos using the name Kavik instead of Carter. It doesn't make much sense why he would be using his last name though. There is also a rumor that his last name starts with the letter W or is the name Washburn. There's other theories about his last name, but that would take way too long to list them all. Which, funny enough, it's actually become a bit of a meme with people giving him ridiculous and outrageous last names. It's actually kind of a surprise that his real last name hasn't gotten out yet, as there are certainly people who know what it is. For example, there was a post by the user Sammy5161 on the iDubbbzTV subreddit discussing a picture of Ian they had found in a yearbook. They had the courtesy to censor out his last name, but there wasn't anything stopping him from just exposing it. There is also the possibility that the photo was fabricated, but analysis shows that that's likely not the case. There is also the distinct possibility that Ian Carter is his real name and he's just trying to fool everyone. Regardless, we should all have some respect for Ian's privacy, as it can be hard not to let information get out when you're that popular. On March 26, 2010, Ian chose to make a YouTube account under the username iDubbbz. This isn't the same channel we know today as iDubbbzTV, but was actually the very first channel of his. The name itself, iDubbbz, has commonly been talked about in confusion, with most people not knowing what it means. But there have been a few times in the past when he's explained. To break it down, the I in iDubbbz stands for him, or in his perspective, me, and does not technically mean Ian as many have speculated. The dubs can be shortened to dub, as it means to dub over something. When you combine both, iDubbbz is meant to be a way of saying I dub or I dub over videos online, which is a specific phrase he's used to explain the name.
Maybe that's what the I in iDubbbz stands for. Yeah, right. No, I stands for I, me, I. Because I dub over videos online. Okay, iDubbbz.
When he made his channel, the name fit quite a bit better, as he mostly made Let's Play videos where he would use commentary to dub over the gameplay. There was also a reason stated for the 3 B's in the username. While these days he jokes about them having specific meaning, the story is actually a lot more basic. According to him from a few years ago, the 2 extra B's were added because someone already had the username iDub and iDub with 2 B's, so he added a 3rd B and a Z at the end. I couldn't find him mentioning anything about the Z at the end, but it's common to see Z in place of S in different names. I guess it's just cool or something. Supposedly, it wasn't until 2012 that he consistently started making videos, the reason for which was because he, and I quote, had nothing better to do. though he did have videos before then, such as the highlight video of him getting 5 kills in Dota, which is also the earliest available and possibly first ever video of his. Known to many, he started by making Let's Plays on different video games such as Overgrowth, Minecraft, and others. What's interesting is that he was inspired to start said content because of people like Chugga Conroy and the Angry Video Game Nerd. He looked at YouTubers like them and thought to himself, yeah, I can do something like this. And thus, he began his channel. Originally, he only had commentary over gameplay, but being inspired by PewDiePie, he implemented Facecam and began playing more horror-related games that were popular at the time, like Amnesia and Slenderman. Throughout the short time that he was uploading on the iDubbbz channel, he ended up with over 290 videos and somewhere above 420,000 views. To this day, the channel only contains 2 different videos, one of them being an old Harlem Shake video and the other being the previously mentioned Dota highlight video. And finally, the channel now has over 10,000 subscribers. The reason he discontinued the channel was because of monetization issues. Apparently, the channel had monetization disabled, forcing him to move to a different channel if he ever wanted to make any money. Not much else has been said as to why he moved channels, so until then, the channel will remain forgotten. Despite Ian's fame, there is still a channel of his that has gone fairly unseen. Just as iDubbbzTV has iDubbbzTV 2, iDubbbz has iDubbbz 2, which is a channel of his that only has a bit over 100 subscribers. The channel was started on March 9th, 2012, and only currently has 3 different videos on it. I did manage to find out there was once 4 videos on the channel, but the first of which was put on private for some unknown reason. There's really not much to say regarding this channel, as it seems to have been a failed or forgotten experiment. I guess by the time Ian had moved on to his new channel, he didn't feel the need to keep such an old and outdated branding of his name. Of the 3 videos that are publicly available, we can tell that the channel was dedicated to meme edits, similar to channels like Dolan Dark or Grande. I would imagine he had more planned for the channel, but after those few videos, he never uploaded again. But it's not as if that sort of thing is uncommon, as it's normal to see YouTubers start projects that never end up being completed. After Ian had realized the necessity to move channels, he created iDubbbzTV on August 17th, 2012. The first video on the channel was of him playing the holiday levels in Overgrowth, a game he had normally played on his original channel. But honestly, not much changed at first. He continued to play games just as he used to, but eventually he felt the need to branch off and make himself the center of attention instead of whatever game he would have been playing. Basically, he wanted to show his face more often. This being the case, on March 18th, 2013, he started a series named Gaming News Crap, where he discussed different gaming-related developments that happened at the time, as the name implies. It was in this series that he first debuted a segment that would change the course of his channel, and that segment was named Kickstarter Crap. For a very long time, Kickstarter Crap was merely a small segment at the end of his news videos. In fact, Gaming News Crap went on for at least 16 episodes before Kickstarter Crap got its own series. But when he finally did make it its own series, he completely discontinued Gaming News Crap, as he felt no need to report on things that most people would already be aware of. Another advantage to making it its own series was the fact that he could go all out and really get into why something was a scam or downright awful. So with that, the first episode of Kickstarter Crap was released on September 18th, 2013. This had to have been the perfect time to start this series, because when he did, there was an incredibly large amount of Kickstarter pages that could be discussed. It also helped that not too many people were talking about it on YouTube at the time. When considering those factors, it's not much of a surprise as to why the series got so popular, but it wouldn't have been possible without Ian's humor and intelligence in critiquing said projects. I can't make a statement about the current number of scams there are on Kickstarter these days, but it wouldn't be a surprise to find that there have been purposefully bad Kickstarters made in the hopes of getting talked about on Kickstarter Crap. The series itself hasn't been on Ian's channel in quite some time, but this is because he has a plethora of other series, which I'll get to later. As of writing this, the last video in the series was made over a year ago, but there is always the chance that he'll one day make another one. Kickstarter Crap was the series that solidified him as an internet critic. Even though his content isn't 100% criticism, it's still what he's known for to this day, and that wouldn't be the case without this series. Before Ian entirely quit making video games, he created a website that's still up to this day. If you go to iDubbbz.com, the website looks fairly similar to what it once did, but with a few minor changes. It was around June of 2014 that he created this website, and he intended to use it for a bit more than what he does today. Right now, the website only has 3 different pages on it, which is Home, About, and FAQ. But when he first launched it, it also had Contact, Media, Projects, Fan Art, and Site Friends. There's nothing special about those extra pages, excluding one. If you go to iDubbbz.com/projects, you can, even to this day, gain access to a page detailing Ian's very own video games. Yes, Ian has actually attempted to make his own games. The first game of his, named thinkorswim, is very poorly made and can probably be used to criticize him if done right. Though on the website he does acknowledge the quality of the game, even stating that it was made in 24 hours for the 24-hour game jam. But interestingly enough, it's still downloadable and playable, even on Mac or Linux. If you want to play the game, I've left a link in the description if you're interested. Let's just hope that he doesn't take it down. That's the only available game on his website, though he had planned to release another game under the name Tar Baby. Though you can't download this game, there were a few screenshots provided. To describe the game, he said on his website, "Tar Baby is an adventure/platformer game where you shoot balls of tar at your enemies, covering them in tar. Tar Baby can smolder, fly, and say cool things. There is no story right now, but I think it's going to involve some Aboriginal voodoo magic. I'm a fan of Aboriginal voodoo magic." From what I can tell, that's mostly all that's ever been discussed about the game, though he did talk about it in a now deleted Q&A video and probably mentioned it in a few other deleted videos of his. It seems as though he was putting a bit more effort into this one, as it was obviously taking him more than 24 hours. Whether he'll release the game is yet to be seen, but it would be funny if he actually did. Speaking of deleted videos, every one of the older gaming videos that he once had on the iDubbbzTV channel has now been deleted or privatized. The oldest available video is the very first Kickstarter crap, but from what we know, he did quite a few gaming videos alongside that series. For a while, Kickstarter crap was legitimately the only other series aside from his gaming videos, but on August 6th, 2014, he made a video that would later turn into one of his longest running series. Bad Unboxing Toothbrush was intended to be a one-off video, but spawned over 70 unique unboxings. The joke was that nobody would ever unbox a toothbrush, but he continued the joke in the next few videos when he would unbox things like stickers, batteries, computer parts, and a whole lot more. The series today is known for the crazy mail fans will send him, but it actually was quite some time before he started accepting fan mail. He'll open the mail in some glorious fashion, as the fans tend to send him the most insane items possible. Or at least, when he does open them, he only tends to show the packages that give him a good reaction. Over time, as he started to become more and more popular, Ian had to close the P.O. box because he was receiving too much mail. He did open it back up again, just to close it a few weeks after that, because once again, he was receiving too much mail. What's interesting is that the mail company actually held back some of his packages due to the names a certain amount of his fans used to address him with. It became a meme to use joke names on the packages for Ian, because he would read them out in the video before opening the box. It would be names such as Ian Dubbs and other more vulgar things that I won't say. Fun fact, Ian actually considered making a channel that was family friendly, as can be found in this old tweet of his. If this were the case, I would imagine his humor would look drastically different. That aside, the series itself was meant to be satire of unboxing videos, but interestingly enough turned into actual unboxing videos, sort of. There isn't anything new about opening fan mail, but what makes Bad Unboxing different is the fans themselves. If it wasn't for Ian's outlandish and sarcastic humor, the fans wouldn't have much of a reason to say the things they do. But in trying to unbox things in the worst way possible, Ian managed to provide comedy and entertainment in a genre that's generally pretty boring. Plenty of time went by before Ian's next big series, but he eventually uploaded a video that would start one of the most anticipated series in all of YouTube.
Hey there folks, I'm the Content Cop. I'm here to make sure everyone's content is up to par, and if it's not, I'll bring them to justice.
On December 13th, 2015, Content Cop Busting Jinx Reload was uploaded. To get an idea of the scale to which people watch these videos, the least popular video in the series, Content Cop Tech Destruction Channels, has nearly 6 million views, and the most popular in the series, Content Cop Leafy, has nearly 30 million views. But what makes Content Cop so special? In the series itself, Ian merely discusses the flaws in people's content and character, much the same as he used to discuss the flaws in people's Kickstarter pages. But the difference between Kickstarter crap and Content Cop is that Kickstarter crap simply talks about bad Kickstarter pages that most people would have no awareness of. On the other hand, when Ian makes a Content Cop, he always talks about channels that are well above 1 million subscribers, or even more popular than he is. The difference is that two fan bases practically go to war instead of everyone collectively hating on a single Kickstarter page. The impact one of these videos has on the victim's reputation is incredibly immense, though for a while it seems to have been a bit of a myth that Ian could ruin someone's career if he simply made a content cop on them. It's true that the victims lose plenty of subscribers, but to say that they couldn't even have YouTube as a career is a bit ludicrous. The power that the series holds has actually gotten Ian to specifically regret making a video on the Fine Bros in his Fine Bros content comp. This is because he didn't say many criticisms that were new, and he didn't literally think they made bad content. It also doesn't help that he actually met one of the Fine Bros at VidCon. The reputation of the series has actually led to fear among certain YouTubers, hoping that a content cop won't be made on them. But more than just fear from YouTubers, there's been fear from Ian himself. Let me explain. It's no surprise that fans will want to defend their favorite YouTuber, but for some fans it goes beyond just being loyal and actually turns into hatred for anyone who criticizes said YouTuber. Point being, there are certainly people who would go out of their way to dox or swat Ian for the simple fact of him making a content cop on their YouTube idol. If you don't know what either are, doxing is when you expose someone's private information like their address, phone number, and anything else. Swatting is when you use said information to send a SWAT team over to the victim's house, usually under the false threat of holding someone hostage or otherwise. Swatting has actually gotten people killed, so in a way this kind of criticism can legitimately be dangerous. Because of this risk, Ian has personally called his local police department before releasing his content cop on Keemstar, Leafy is Here, and probably others as well. He did this to make sure they put him on the whitelist, preventing any possible chance of him getting swatted. More than just fear of his safety, Ian has also feared that he could potentially ruin his career by continuing the series. Specifically, he worried that he would actually lose subscribers when he made the content cop on Leafy, as they shared a large portion of each other's fanbase. Personal friends of his even warned him against making certain videos, stating that it might not be a good idea. But as of right now, Ian has only benefited from Content Cop, gaining hundreds of thousands of subscribers every time a new one is released. So why is Content Cop so special? Well, it's risky, it's interesting, it gets a huge community of people talking, discussing the possible outcome of said video and the possible next victim. It's just fun to watch Ian tear apart the contents of so many huge YouTubers. And the way he criticizes people oftentimes doesn't leave much room for a good response. And speaking of responses, that may be one of the most unique parts about it, seeing how the victims respond to such a large outcry. While some YouTubers choose to attempt to defend themselves, poorly I might add, others might see what they did wrong and apologize. Some might ignore it, and others might endorse it. Either way, the series, and Ian's content in general, has served to mold a whole community of commentators. Ian is actually the one who popularized facecam commentary videos, bringing the commentary community out of the phase of using gameplay, and that's probably in part due to the content cop made on Leafy. Though I wouldn't consider him a solid member of the commentary community, he certainly has influenced those people and many others as well. It'll probably be a very long time before we ever see someone challenge the content cop, but everyone screws up, and eventually Ian will too. Regardless, Content Cop may very well be one of the most successful series in all of YouTube. Not every series can be as popular as Content Cop though, and as such, we've seen Ian try a plethora of different series and one-off videos. I won't go over all of them, but a good place to start would be when he attempted a series by the name Kickstarter Cool. It's the same concept as Kickstarter crap, but instead he looks at good projects. He only made a single video with the title, but in my opinion it would have been cool to see more from this series. Following in line with his Kickstarter crap-esque projects, he tried a series named Greenlight Garbage. Again, same concept as Kickstarter crap, but instead of looking at Kickstarter pages, he would look at Steam Greenlight pages, discussing up-and-coming games that he thought looked like, well, garbage. Instead of making series based on Kickstarter crap, he should have merely continued making videos with the title eBiggers, which was a series that was identical to Kickstarter crap, but looked at pages from all over the internet instead of just Kickstarter. It's funny to see that out of everyone he could have copied, he copied himself more than anything. Like the time he made a video named The Knockout Bad Review. If you couldn't tell, this is basically the same as Bad Unboxing, but instead of it being an unboxing, it was a review. In the video, he even unboxed the item he was going to review. One of the times he made something that comes at least a little bit close to original is when he had a series named iDubbbz Complains. The series itself has actually been around for a little while, but currently there is only one video from the series that still remains public. As basic as it sounds, Ian would talk or complain about whatever topic it may have been, such as YouTube comments, 60 FPS YouTube videos, and others. So it's really nothing special. Going back to his Kickstarter related videos, he started something more recently named Where Are They Now? In these videos, he looks back at old Kickstarter pages that he once discussed, seeing how they turned out. This, at least, is a little bit more creative than simply rehashing the same idea. I do understand, though, Kickstarter Crap was one of the most successful series, so I don't blame him for keeping up that sort of content. That's not to say that he hasn't made videos that were completely original, because he has. There are actually 2 series of his that I see as quite creative, though sadly neither of them lasted too long. The first was named Comedians, and the rest of the title would be filled in, such as Comedians on Hoverboards Get Chicken Nuggets. Simply, he would take some big YouTuber on a ride with him to get some sort of food. It doesn't sound special, but Ian made it fun to watch. A total of 3 different videos were made under this title. The second series was named What's in the Box. That's a little bit confusing, but he set up his garage to have a whole ton of random things in it, and he would spin this wheel and would do random things based on what the wheel landed on, and, well, it didn't make much sense. It was interesting, but it was confusing, and also funny. Ian later said that he wasn't too proud of those videos, and I'm not sure why, as it would have taken an incredibly long amount of time to set up everything, and he'd put quite a bit of work into them, but it doesn't seem as though he has any plans to continue it. I could keep going about his different series, like Legit Food Review and others, but I think you get the point that Ian has tried many different things. Ian seems to find originality within his comedy, and the concept of his videos is mostly pretty stale in terms of uniqueness, but the fact that he can make such things entertaining is a testament to his intellect. Ian isn't always 100% responsible for entertaining us though, considering the fact that he collaborates with people all the time. Here's a list of just some of the people he's collaborated with. PewDiePie, Vsauce, HowToBasic, Philip DeFranco, H3H3, Filthy Frank, Vsauce3, Jax Films, Boy in a Band, Max Mofo, Ricky Berwick, Anything for Views, Nerd City, and more. Many of the channels listed are ones that Ian collaborated with on their own channels respectively, but many of them have also been featured within Ian's videos and even been turned into memes. Whether he's collaborating with YouTubers, creating new series, or just sticking with what he knows, Ian has been met with great success. Currently, the channel has over 6.2 million subscribers, and a grand total of 812 million views, divided among the 245 plus videos he has. It's quite incredible how popular he is these days, so I can't see him quitting anytime soon. Let's jump back to August 9th, 2015, when Ian created iDubbbzTV 2, his second channel. How do I describe this channel? Well, the best way to put it would be vlogs, extras, and random videos that he didn't feel like putting on his main channel. Though I can mention that the Comedian series actually started on this channel and wasn't moved to his main channel until episode 2. Aside from his typical vlogs, the only actual series on the channel is named Save the Squirrels Initiative, which might just be one of the most unique things he's done in contrast to all of his other content. You can also call them vlogs, but they're kind of their own thing. Basically, Ian needed to move some animals off of his property, so the series is about his attempts to capture said animals and move them to a more proper location. It's fun, and it's worth watching, but it's different. The channel doesn't get too many uploads on it, but that's to be expected considering it's just his second channel. Like all of his other channels, there are videos that existed that have now been privatized. He used to upload outtakes from his Kickstarter crap videos, and didn't do much else. But as it goes, that's all that's really on the channel. Currently, the channel has 2.3 million subscribers, 145 million total views, and about 34 videos. Not much else can be said about the channel, so I'll just leave it at that. Finally, on August 21st, 2015, only 12 days after he created iDubbbzTV 2, he created the channel iDubbbz Games. This is the last channel that we would see from him. As made obvious by the name, this is where Ian moved his gaming content. At this point, Kickstarter crap and all of his other content became the center of attention on his main channel, so he needed somewhere to move his gaming content. The easy solution? Make a new channel. And that's what he did. He only uploaded for a few months, but the content that he did upload was basically the same as what he was once doing on the iDubbbzTV channel. If you're at all interested in seeing what his gaming videos were like, you can still view every video that was uploaded to the channel. Even though he quit making videos on this channel around 2 years ago as of writing this, he recently felt like continuing uploads. So it's interesting to see that he actually plans on making more gaming related videos. He did say that he doesn't want to just make boring videos where he talks about the game that he was playing. Instead, he's going to attempt putting more effort into the content and actually do something that's a bit more creative with the channel. To this day, the channel only has around 590,000 subscribers and around 10 million views, which in comparison to his other channels isn't really that much. And just like iDubbbzTV 2, there isn't much else to say about this channel. As far as my knowledge goes, that's just about everything Ian has done, and all of that happened in about 7 years. Sure, 7 years is a long time, but that's an incredibly large amount of content even for that amount of time. In total, Ian has probably made somewhere above 700 videos, most of them being private, but the number continues to grow. What's mostly important though is that Ian continues to entertain people, and lately it seems as though he's been making higher and higher quality content. Seeing all the new and crazy things he does, watching all the memes used in various different ways, and just enjoying YouTube culture is really what makes me enjoy iDubbbz. Overall, iDubbbz is one of the YouTube legends. I'm sure people will be watching his content for as long as he continues to make videos. So, when looking back on and reflecting on his channel, I can't help but to think, hey, that's pretty good.
Everything looked like a fuzzy